Not guilty of...
James Salt Marshall was only 22 years old when his entire world collapsed. He was a young father, cradling his 8-month-old daughter, Jania, on what should have been just another quiet evening. They were watching a movie together, and at some point, James drifted off to sleep, his daughter safely in his arms. But when he woke up, Jania wasn't breathing. Panicked and confused, James called 911. Emergency responders rushed Jania to the hospital, but despite all attempts to revive her, the infant girl was pronounced dead. The tragedy alone was unbearable, but what followed was far worse. Doctors reported a skull fracture and signs of sexual trauma. Their findings suggested the unimaginable, that a foreign object had been forcibly inserted into Jania. And in the eyes of the law, only one person could have done it: her father. James was immediately arrested and charged with murder and sexual assault. In court, he broke down hysterically, crying out that he could never harm his daughter. But no one believed him. Public outrage exploded. Social media called him a monster. People cursed his name. He was branded a child killer, a predator, and a disgrace. Behind bars, James begged for a retrial. Again and again, the court denied his appeals. It seemed his fate had already been sealed. The weight of accusation crushed him, his character destroyed, his name dragged through the mud, his soul beaten. But 2 months later, everything changed. New forensic experts were called in to review the evidence, and what they found flipped the case upside down. The rectal injury? A small tear caused not by assault, but by severe constipation, a medical condition common in infants. The skull fracture? Misdiagnosed. There was no significant brain trauma. The true cause of death? Accidental suffocation. James's original statement now made heartbreaking sense. He had told investigators, "I held her too tightly because I was afraid she would fall off the bed." That fear, that desperate need to protect her, had unknowingly cost her life. The findings were undeniable. There was no crime, no malice, just a devastating mistake from a young, frightened father trying to do the right thing. The prosecutor's office dropped all charges. James Salt Marshall was acquitted. He walked free, legally exonerated, but emotionally shattered, because the truth came too late. He had already been dragged through hell. He had already lived as a villain in the eyes of the world, and though the law had cleared his name, the damage done to his reputation, his mental health, and his spirit could never truly be repaired. Sometimes, the system fails